all you literary legends and luminaries. I'm Julie, and welcome to Write Smart. Today we are going back in time to discuss these cassette tapes, but not in the way of music. So you might remember when I discussed my mother's record book and how to use that in her memoir. These cassette tapes are sort of the same conundrum. How much of the information should I use? So first off, anyone younger than Gen X probably doesn't understand the concept of long distance phone calls. When I was 4, we moved from Iowa to Utah, and all of our family lived in Iowa at the time. In 1981, phone companies charged you per minute for long distance phone calls. It was always cheaper after 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. Maybe it was even 7. And I think the rates were cheaper on the weekends too. But this is something that anyone under 30 years old would not understand because long distance was so expensive, at least from my family's point of view. My mother would send these cassette tapes back and forth to her parents in Iowa. Postal charges were much cheaper back then. So my mother would record over what her parents had sent, but my grandpa kept all the tapes. As my dad was cleaning out stuff and trying to organize, I took the cassette tapes. So from September 1981 to December 1981, I have about 3 cassette tapes filled with the monotony of our lives. I was only 4, so I don't remember too much about Utah. We didn't send any cassettes back and forth after Christmas because my mom's mom became very ill and was in and out of the hospital for 5 months. And then by the summer, we moved to South Dakota. What I'm getting at is for 4 months, I have lots of information, although it may not be all that significant in relation to the bigger picture of my mother's life. So here's a clip.
There's snow on the tops of the mountains. Just Mount Olympus up here. Boy, it sure is pretty.
Don't you just love the hiss? I used Adobe to try to make it sound better, but that's all the better my lack of technical skills could achieve. So it's a lot of small talk. Coming from the Midwest, the mountains out our back window would have been a really big deal. Then Mom talks about her sewing, something her mom would have understood because they both sewed. I think much of my findings on the cassette tape, though, are vital to my memoir. My mom's upbeat, but I think it's a little too upbeat at times, and she's painting a prettier picture of our lives in Utah than actually was happening. My dad's professor job was not going well. He enjoyed teaching and his students liked him, but there were a lot of things happening behind the scenes that were not good. My mother does share her opinions on things and all the inner office gossip. Lots of talk about the weather, about the crime. Considering my grandparents lived in a small town in Iowa, high-speed chases, kidnapping, and murders would have been rare for them. Lots of talk of sewing and decorating and houseplants and gardening. My sister would have been in 3rd grade at the time, and so my mom talks about that as well. We only had 1 car, so my mom and I walked a couple blocks across the street to the grocery store. We made a praying mantis a pet, fed him bologna, and named him Bob. Little delightful details that otherwise would have been lost in time because I don't remember too much about it. But what I'm really wondering about is this. So we record so much more than we used to. It goes to that cloud in the sky, and then what? When we share it right away, what happens to it then? When someone dies, someone who has lived their life online, sharing and posting all the time, do their friends and family have access to all that stuff? And if they do, what do they do with it? On the one hand, I would think our digital age and our need to post and share everything about our lives would give us a wealth of information and archive people's lives much more thoroughly than the time before social media and smartphones. But if no one bothers to do anything with all those pictures and recordings and videos and posts, then does it matter? Other than Booksmart, I don't post anything anywhere else, so I've never had Facebook, Instagram, or what have you, so I'm not really familiar with how all that sharing and liking and whatever occurs, and how, as someone who likes something or shares something or whatever, you can access it or not if it's not your account. Can you recover all that stuff from someone else's account after they die and then upload it to your cloud? And do you even bother to do that? And if you do, what do you do with it? So I did do a little research, and it looks like families fight over the accounts of deceased relatives and that some platforms make it difficult to gain access to the information on the account. Otherwise, many accounts just remain online. Some are memorialized since many platforms have that option now, but many people in their contacts don't even realize the person has died. But are we doing anything with all those photographs or videos that are in these accounts? Not many people have physical photo albums anymore. No one transfers their home movies onto DVDs or any other sort of physical copies. Physical copies of a lot of stuff just doesn't exist anymore. So if someone was writing about a loved one like I am, but this someone lived their life in the digital age, how would they access all that information? And would they even bother to do so? Maybe that's the bigger question. Is anyone saving such material for future use, even though everything saves automatically now? We seem to take so much for granted. We live our lives online and through our phones, yet we don't seem to care to do anything significant with the material after years have gone by. So it's kind of weird. Children can't flip through a photo album of their parents, even themselves for that matter, just whatever is posted online or scrolled through on their phone. So does that make our memories better or worse? When children of today write about their childhoods 40 years from now, will such a digital existence aid them in the writing of it, or will it hinder it, altering it, assuming humanity doesn't blow up the planet first? I don't know. I'm still going to stick with the cassette tapes. I like the old stuff. Thanks for watching. As always, my goal at Booksmart is to write books so that we can read books and get a little bit smarter, one book at a time.